Welcome everyone to Cruise Connector. My name is Lauren. Today I'm going to share with you my adventure on my first ever Carnival cruise. It was also my first cruise I've ever taken. And I wish I would have took more videos. However, I'll explain as we go through these pictures of what happened and what I learned on my first cruise. So here's what I ended up taking for my luggage. So I had 2 check bags, a carry-on, and a backpack. I'm a little bit of an overpacker, and on my next cruise I'm down to a carry-on and a backpack. So hopefully I don't miss anything that I didn't bring. So I decided I might want some candy bars while on the cruise ship and didn't think that there was going to be anywhere to buy any. So I took all of this with me, along with the coffee creamer, which I only used a few. So I would recommend not taking this. And then I also bought a bunch of hand sanitizer, which I did not use one single drop of during the whole cruise. So again, not something I would take ever again on a cruise. Next we have all of this medicine and sunscreen that I took. I did end up using some sunscreen, however, it was not enough SPF. After a day at Magens Bay Beach, I ended up looking like a lobster. So I would recommend a lot more than a 30 SPF for a Caribbean cruise. Pepsi Complete, I did end up using a lot of that. And there were a couple nights where it got a little rocky on the ship. I believe it was moving differently than the rest of the time. So I started feeling a little bit seasick. So definitely take some seasick medicine. I also took some games, which we didn't play, snorkel gear, which I didn't use, ponchos, which I didn't use. The power strip definitely came in handy. I'd recommend that. I also took a relief band, which is an electronic bracelet, essentially, that zaps your wrist to prevent nausea. And also some phone cases that are waterproof. Did not use those, but I'm sure they'll come in handy at some point. Next, we have the Venty fan. I am a huge fan of this fan, literally. We used it every night, and it was so nice to have air circulation in the cruise room, in the cruise cabin. It came with a nice carry case, and it does extend from 3 inches up to 3 feet tall. It oscillates, it has a night light, it has a remote. If you come across this, I'll put a link in the description for it, but I definitely recommend picking it up for your travels. I did purchase some shore excursions before the trip. One of them was the Island Highlights and Beach with local flavors for Grand Turk. This excursion ended up being pretty nice. We did tour the island, and we also stopped at the Grand Turk sign for pictures. And then we got to hang out at a local beach called the Governor's Beach, and it was nice and sandy. It does drop off super quick from being shallow to deep, so be careful if you go to Grand Turk. And we also had donkeys visit us on the beach. So the description of it was, come and enjoy the serenity and tranquility of Grand Turk by visiting our quaint downtown. You will be driven around in a comfortable air-conditioned vehicle through this little town. You will be shown many of the island's highlights as you pass by the replica of the famous Friendship 7 capsule, the governor's office, the premier's office, the salt ponds, and the many churches. While in the town area, you will have an hour to explore the Grand Turk National Museum, where you will be taken back in time as you stroll through and be captivated by the many rustic displays and preserved artifacts from its past. There will also be time to go shopping and enjoy some of the local cuisine, made fresh at an affordable price. The next part of this excursion is pure fun in the sun. You will have 2 hours to walk, swim, or relax on the pristine Governor's Beach. Here you can breathe easy in a peaceful atmosphere. At the end of our time together, you will be taken back to port. So altogether, I did enjoy this excursion. We were fed, so you were given food and a drink. When you get dropped off at the museum, they actually go back and pick up the second tour if you choose the early tour. So just be aware that they might be a little late coming back to get you. And here's the Grand Turk sign. And there was our tour bus. This is actually for the Sweet St. Martin tour. We had a similar tour bus in Grand Turk, but our bus driver was really great in St. Martin. And on this excursion, we toured the island. We stopped at a local pastry shop on the France side of the island. And then we also went to Maho Beach to see the airplanes. Here's the French pastry shop. All I can say is it was amazing. I would definitely go back if I'm ever in St. Martin again. And there's a bunch of little pop-up shops around there as well. And here's some of the pastries that were in the case. We ended up going with the vanilla flower, which was amazing. It was a vanilla mousse with a tart on the bottom, and inside the tart were pecans and caramel. And here is that delectable dessert. Oh my goodness, how I miss it. But one day again, maybe I'll be back there and pick up this same exact dessert. Definitely a try again one. So after this stop, we went to Maho Beach, and here's a video of that. Another shore excursion that I bought was the St. Thomas Sky Ride to Paradise Point. This was in St. Thomas, and when we got off the ship, we noticed that the line for this was super short, and I would highly recommend getting in line right away if you see that. There's only 6 cars total, and 3 go up to the mountain at a time, and the other 3 go back down the mountain. So to see views that are great, I would recommend that. So you can go to the top of the mountain and take great pictures. Here's some of the pictures that we took while up there. There are also 4 other cruise ships in port besides ours, one being the Icon of the Seas. I actually had wanted to go to Mountaintop in St. Thomas, however the taxi driver would not take me. He was concerned that I wouldn't get back to the ship. So keep that in mind. St. Thomas might be a pretty busy place, and you might not be able to get a taxi ride where you want to go. I took his advice. We went to Magens Bay Beach instead, which was great. Another short excursion that I purchased was the Carnival Behind the Fun Ultimate Tour. This tour I would highly recommend as well. Maybe just a one-time and not do it again, but it was nice to meet the captain. We also got the recipe for the Carnival chocolate melting cake. Here's a description of the shore excursion. So you do get a limited edition Behind the Fun baseball cap. You get a complimentary commemorative photos, Carnival branded goodies, light snacks, and pastries. The tour does happen on the last sea day of your voyage. If there is only one sea day on your voyage, your tour will take place on that day. We did not have to stop by the Carnival Adventures desk for our tickets. They were delivered to our room. I highly recommend not bringing anything with you. They will hold on to it if you do. However, if you do bring something with you, they'll give it back to you at the end of the tour. And the tour will be visiting a few areas that are accessible only by stairs. When I booked this, I was a little concerned that it would be a huge ladder to climb up, but really it wasn't that bad. It says guests must wear comfortable closed-toe shoes or sneakers, no sandals or flip-flops, no bathing attire or skirts permitted. Minimum age for the tour is 8 years old. Anyone under 18 must be accompanied by an adult, and the tour lasts approximately 3 hours and 45 minutes. It was a great time. We got some good pictures with the captain, and I'm happy that I did it, but like I said, I probably wouldn't do it again. So the behind the scenes tour, you'll get to see areas of the ship that you wouldn't normally see. including visits to the ship's bridge, engine control room, the main galley, staff dining areas, the storeroom, laundry, and other spaces for a rare insider's view. If you're interested in taking this tour, make sure to book early, as it is only limited to 16 participants. So we were lucky enough to be 2 of the 16. Here's a look at what we got. So we got the baseball hat, a little backpack, a lanyard, and then the chocolate melting cake recipe. Those were our souvenirs from the Behind the Fun tour. I also purchased a Wi-Fi plan. Nowadays it's hard to live without your phone. I am a constant email checker, and I had my dogs boarded while we were gone. So it was nice to get updates on them while we were away at sea. I didn't have any issues with the Wi-Fi. I had seen some videos where they complained it didn't work very well, but I didn't have any issues with it. The premium plan allows you to check emails. That's the only one that I saw covered that, so that's why I went with that one. And here's a look at our hotel that we stayed at in Miami, the Hilton Miami downtown. We weren't there very long as we arrived super late on our flight, early in the morning, like 12 a.m. But here are some of the views out of the windows. And then it also had an entryway, and this is the bathroom. Had a nice shower and a tub. And then here's the room. Alright, here's a picture of the Showtime Theater on the Carnival Magic. The theater was on decks 3, 4, and 5, and this is where they play Deal or No Deal, and also host bingo. Also, we watched the giveaway show at the beginning of the cruise. Never knew that they would try to sell you so much jewelry on a cruise. Something I learned. And then we had the atrium. The atrium was on deck 3, and they had wonderful violin players almost every night. You'll see a clip of that later in this video. Here's a view of the aft pool on deck 10 at the back of the ship. This was near the pizza place. Another picture of it there. Here's a look at the main pool deck on deck 10. Blue Iguana Cantina and Guy's Burgers were really close to that. And then there's a picture of our ship next to a Norwegian ship. Here's a look at the stairs. I did take the stairs a few times on the ship when it was super rocky. I didn't quite trust the elevators when the doors were opening by themselves. And then we had the elevators. So the theme was green and brown inside the ship. And then here's Towel Animal Day. That was fun to see. And here's Carnival Magic at port. And a couple more pictures of the swimming pool on the ship. This one was near the back of the ship by the pizza place. And then there's the Rock and Glow party. And here's a video of it. My brother ended up going to some of the production shows on the ship. I ended up falling asleep every night after dinner, so I missed out on them, but he said that he really enjoyed them. One of them was Flick, and this was the cast from that show. One of the guys in the cast ended up being our tour guide for our Behind the Fun tour. Here's a look at the water slides on the ship. We didn't get to partake in those, maybe next time. And then movies at night. Again, I was asleep, so my brother enjoyed them, and it did get very cold at night. And here's the violinists that entertained on the atrium level. And here's a little preview of what they can do. They were so amazing. And here's our first towel animal we received. It was an elephant. I was so excited because I was super disappointed when we got to the room and there wasn't one. So just know that they do come, just not when you first get to your room. And Carnival has events where you can stop by the art gallery and guess the price on something or the weight. And this is just an example of some of the pictures that we received, or artwork I should say. So you got a huge envelope every time you went by. It was kind of a pain to carry it around, but it was nice to get the free artwork. So overall, I would recommend going to do those activities so you can come home with some artwork to put on your walls. That's free. They also had a scavenger hunt, which was really fun. And we got an itinerary every day that was printed out. It was in our mailbox right outside our room. So it was nice to see what was in store for each day. And then I had to stop by Build-A-Bear. I've never built a bear in my life, and it was super fun. And now I have Captain Magic Cruisley. That is his name, and he will be forever cherished. Once the cruise was over, we stayed at the Miami Biltmore Hotel, and the pool was amazing. It was actually the only pool we went in on our whole trip, but it was well worth it. The Biltmore Miami Hotel has a great golf course, and we played a round of 9 holes. And the inside was just gorgeous, beautiful architecture. They also had a charity auction going on when we went. Here's a look at our room. The Lavazza coffee machine was awesome. Highly recommend that. And it was so nice to have water pressure after being on the cruise ship for 8 days. They had a couple really neat statues. So there's this golf ball and then the golf club design on the wall. Well, I hope you had fun enjoying my first cruise adventure, and I look forward to my next cruise in August 2024 on the MSC Seashore. So be sure to keep an eye out for that video when I get back, and be sure to subscribe so then you'll be notified when it gets published.